Each time, and each day, no improvement. Just staring out the window with no replies, but yes, no, I'm hungry now. Is it time to sleep? He couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. He was just traumatizing to him and to her and everyone else in his family. So, he brought her home and he put her in her bed and put her underneath the covers and told her good night. Have some early rest. Maybe you will feel better in the morning. She fell asleep, of course, but staring at the window. John had invited some of his friends to come over for the night so they can play poker. So John got his table ready, made sure that he had the tokens, had the cards. Once he was ready, he invited his friends over for the night. They stayed up till early morning playing poker. Of course, John, being the very good poker player, he won every time. He heard a scream. He ran upstairs. He just ran. He skipped them 2 at a time, 3, 4. He ran up the stairs, ran across the hallway into Iris's room. The window was open. Wind, slight breeze, blowing the curtains back. He saw the creature, this time in the most detail he'd ever seen in it. He had Iris in his claws. Of course, she wasn't hurt, but this scared John to death. Its eyes, he couldn't stop staring at its eyes. It's as if it just paralyzed him. He couldn't move. He couldn't save her. She screamed and he couldn't move. Of course, all the guys had left by then, so he couldn't call them. He also just couldn't move. The creature jumped out the window and ran off into the forest on 3 legs, carrying Iris on the 4th. She was screaming the entire time. As soon as the creature had jumped out the window, and immediately after it ran into the forest, John was able to break from his paralysis and took off after the creature, grabbing the gun that he would use to kill it, he thought. Immediately he bolted out the door, using his military skills to scan the surrounding areas. Of course, he didn't have his equipment, his night vision goggles, his Kevlar vest, his extra ammo. But he didn't need that. He had the adrenaline rush to save his daughter. As it was getting closer and closer to the morning, he was slowly giving up hope. The creature and her, nowhere to be seen, nothing in sight, no tracks, nothing. he decided to research this being. Of course, this was, not a new thing. There had been many missing people reported. Of course, many witnesses saying the same things. He had been looked humanoid-like, had the claws like machete, long arms, long legs, no hair, just bald, no clothes, just skin. Of course, it's only distinct feature though. Of course, many were exactly the same, but some were different. But the one feature that did not change out of all the reported sightings was the black, glowing eyes. Now, John, he kept reading more and more about this creature, and its name was the Rake. Now, it was weird because many of the reported sightings had been about missing children. A lot of them, maybe one or two, were not adults. Many were just children, maybe close to their teenage years. Some were teenagers, others close. There were a few, not many, but a few reported missing adults. Now, many of the reported children that have gone missing and adults, the most common missing was women, girls, teenage girls, any female. All but a few were female. He couldn't help but feel as if she was targeted. He just was on the point of just screaming and crying, knowing that another one of his favorite things in life would be lost again. Now, John decided that he needed to find a way to kill this thing. And as many have tried, not a lot have succeeded. In fact, anyone who sees it is next on its list. It just stares at you from the woods. Many reported sightings have said. Others just at a long distance, so you can't really make out what it is. But of course, all had the same side effects. Slight nausea, paralysis, the feeling that you just can't move, the feeling that you're always being watched, and that you can't stop staring once you look into its eyes.